Hey, hey, hey! We're back for another episode. Back in the pond. Season 3, episode 4. Who's this that we have down here, all mysterious looking?
Oh, that's for you to, I don't know, guess and figure
Evie,
out.
is that
It
you?
is.
Creeping in the bushes with your cutie pie self?
I'm hiding from a date that I shouldn't even be watching, but I went anyway. So don't tell anyone I'm here.
Okay. Let's
But
just
We
see
won't.
how creep
We
with
won't
you.
tell Alice either.
oh, Alice can know because we're like this now.
That's
Mhm.
true. They really are.
I
Okay,
love
so
that.
many relationships in this episode. I feel like there's like life again, like we talked about last week. That was very much a like foundation laying episode. Start collecting your pieces. This, I feel like the pieces are like connecting in like the relationship realm. Like we've got
Yeah.
Evie and Alice creeping in the bushes. Alice and Kat are like a gruesome twosome bestie duo now.
They don't even go shopping together.
They don't. They're like, that's so not
More
us.
on brand for us to jump into the pond.
It's like,
Like we have
okay,
Jesse.
we have a brand now.
We're really seeing the love triangle themes of these ships come out too. Um, season one was who was it? Elliot, Kat, and Brady.
Hmm.
Elliot was on the outside looking in. This season, now
Ooh.
season three, we have Evelyn, Colton, and Dell, and Evelyn's on the outside looking in. And they're
Yeah.
really pushing that triangle theme, which they're really pushing the triangle theme with the three founding families too. So
I
more
love
to
a good
come on
numbers
that.
talk.
Oh.
Love a good numbers talk.
More to come.
Can we talk about who's not on the sidelines anymore?
Freeze a crowd. Who's not? Who's not?
My man Elliot.
Kelly has
Well,
some
yeah.
thoughts about Elliot. Let's hear it.
Poor Elliot and his oak floors. I mean, come on.
Okay. This is the spiciest content I've ever seen on anything with Hallmark's tag on it, first of all.
Gonna go.
Did any of you see Andy McDowell on the Tonight Show last week with
No.
Jimmy Fallon? She
No.
said during that interview that she likes to call it spicy Hallmark.
Okay.
And that's starting to make sense a little bit.
It's
I
a lot of Hallmark. It's
Yeah.
like well done, well filmed, well acted, not
well casted.
hate
Again,
on
don't
the
even get
rest
me
of
started
Hallmark.
on the casting.
The depth of the storylines, it's so unique, Hallmark. Like it's spicy. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
What? Yeah.
Okay. Can I say one thing before we dig into the deepness
They
of this
go because it
pond?
starts off dark really quickly, really,
I know.
really
So I want to
quickly.
hit this real quick. They showed the scenes last week of this episode, and everybody got excited when they showed Jacob, and he went, and they showed him by the pickup truck. It faded to black, and you could hear him go, "Father." Remember that? And
Mm.
so everybody thought he's going to see Colton because he was by the pickup truck. He calls out, "Father."
Does he call Colton father?
Well, I don't know if he does or not,
Right?
but that was the assumption because he's in modern time. And then some people were wondering, well, maybe Elijah traveled.
Mm.
But when we watched the episode, Hallmark threw us for a loop. When he travels during one of his dark nightmares and he goes back home to Elijah's home, opens the door, and calls out, Father. It was that father that he said. And they
Oh,
put
the
us on the hook and they got us thinking. So that makes me worry a little bit about maybe Thomas isn't coming back. They show it in the scenes at the end of the episode. They show
wanted
scenes
that
of
so
Thomas and
bad.
Kat. Like that's going to happen next episode. But I wonder if they're just dangling the
Mm-mm.
again.
He's
Mm-mm.
coming. He's coming.
So
I think he absolutely has to. I think if I learned anything from the OC in early high school years, everything that's put in something has a purpose. And we might not get it right away in the next episode, but it's always for a reason.
Future,
right.
future.
I still don't think that they sucked us in to that super unexpected and like weird relationship of Kat and Thomas for nothing. Like, I still don't feel like it's closed. I still don't feel like we got it all.
I don't
No,
even think
He's
that
ditching it with
started.
Jasper
I,
in this
I,
last episode. So it's like, you keep on coming up. I don't think we're done seeing you.
I think that'll be the a wedge between Kat and Elliot at some point,
Oh,
but
don't put Elliot on the sidelines. He's just found his
I
rhythm
know.
and his
It's
life,
too steady. I'm
and he's
And
getting
I
so
felt so bad for him.
steady.
He finally got over, the wet 100-year-old oak.
Mm.
They were making out on the stove,
Leave the milk.
and then she sees the sweater and like leaves him there again. Like, oh no, he's just left in the lurch one more time. Like,
But they always bounce back. I'm kind of waiting for a wrench to be thrown in their relationship because it's too calm right now. And I'm like, I'm used to the ups and downs, like the anticipation
Okay,
and the
did,
anxiety waiting for something.
did
Just give me something.
did either of you pick up on that? Like that whole like can't get enough of you scene with the milk. Kat was clearly looking for something or trying to work past something. And like all the while, she's like, oh, wow, I guess everything is okay. And it's like, are you bored? I gotta
Oh.
go back and watch it because I only watched it the one time. But I feel like my eyebrows were furrowed as I was watching it and listening to it because I was like, what? What? What is this trying to prove for you right now? Like, are you unhappy? Are you bored? Are you an air sign?
Ooh.
You're just floating around the world. So I need to go back and watch that and like see exactly what she said in that. I just got a little distracted by Elliot though, so
I'm
Ooh,
I kind of
forgive
get
me.
a weird feeling with Kat and Elliot that
Elliot.
she was with
The
Brady
relationship
from
name.
what, 16 years old on.
Hmm.
She's never dated. She's never gone out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now
she
she's with
hasn't.
Elliot and she met Thomas and she's like, well, there are more fish in the pond. Who knows?
I don't
Maybe
have
it's,
to date someone that I've known since I was 10. But I
yeah.
I will not let her forget, or any of you forget, that one dude in season one that she was making out with at the lighthouse or whatever, totally randomly. I can't even remember who he was, what his role was on the show, but they just threw it in one episode and made it like a thing. And I was so mad because I was like, what?
That just reeked Heartland to me. I,
Oh,
I
it might
know
have
it's the
been
same
season
writer that she worked on Heartland for all those episodes,
Oh.
but out in the country, you got the horse vet and all that, and it felt like maybe we'll look at this, but it really didn't go anywhere, so they just dropped it.
Yeah.
It's just a thing to show that kind of Cat's moved on from Brady, and
Hmm.
now
Yeah.
found Elliot and
Oh,
Thomas and
yeah.
well,
Away from
TBD,
Alex.
who else?
and Jasper, no,
Savannah, Susanna.
and Susanna, right?
Susanna.
That's the one that's really going to throw a wrench in things because I can't get over it. That's Elliot's lineage. It's incestual. She's making out with the whole tree.
Well,
She hasn't gone there yet, but
No.
I
no.
want it to. I want it to. Forget Thomas. I don't think they had that much depth in the relationship. I want Kat and Susanna.
We'll just have to wait and see.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
Anyway,
So jumping into how the episode starts, like we are slapped in the face with Jacob's PTSD with what he went through with Cyrus.
oh yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, okay. Name I lost his name for a second. And it's wild to me that this is like just now coming up. Like we know he went through stuff, but like the first three episodes have been so much about like, oh my God, he's home and that transition into his new life and everything like this. And like this time we finally got the fact that like you were tortured by
Dell
this.
finally gets the fact. She
Yeah.
finally sees a little bit more, and I think there's more that she has to face with it finally. She can't keep, oh, don't talk to me about that pond. It's like when she sees that physical,
Mm.
how it damaged her own son, she has to look at it. And there was a scene where she was like, what happened, or talk to me, or
You
something.
have what
She
happened to you.
actually showed up to gain some kind of information about it. And I was like, okay, thank you.
But then, like, and again, like, just first reaction to it is she gets the story, she sees the scars, she gets the gist of what's going on, and then takes him to the front porch and says, I really think that you should go and tend this land, Jacob.
Yeah.
Did Jacob not talk about like the visions, the nightmares, like everything else that he's having with this? because it's just like, again, like, do, do we have a heart in here? Do you have a
Leave the room,
soul,
Dell.
honey?
Right? She's like, I just want this man out of my house so I can keep up my relationship with Sam. We can fool around in the
Okay.
bar. Nobody
Till she
watching.
finds out who Sam is.
That
Dun,
too.
dun, dun.
Yeah, but
Okay, so yeah, it was sad first and foremost,
hard
and
to
like
watch.
heartbreaking,
Mhm.
but also like eye-opening to be like, you have a lot that you've got going. Oh gosh, there he is.
Oh, that's a good one. What is heavy?
And I'm curious to see like how this continues going on because where did Jacob leave off with the decision of going to work the fields at the land or work the farmland at the vineyards?
Thought he said he was going to do it, didn't he?
Okay. I thought it was left open-ended, but you probably
Maybe it
paid
was.
attention. I did.
I blurred that.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel like the time for me. I think it's nice to give him a new outlet or something,
Hmm.
but not
Hmm.
that's going to continue to traumatize
Yeah.
him.
Super
And
interested to see where that goes.
yeah, I have to one more call out though. Cyrus had a glow up or something. These flashbacks. Why did he look like he was like 20 years younger? He was kind of glowing and every time he
He had like a
talked,
face blur filter put on him in those portraits.
right?
And I don't know if that was supposed to be the ghostly aura, but yes, I did not see a single like fine line or like anything. The afterlife's serving you well, Cyrus.
Or maybe it's not the afterlife. Maybe he's been traveling. No, I'm not.
Sven's Sven's like
I was like, oh, on that note, like
seasons ahead of you on that one.
theory.
Okay, the letters are back.
The letters and the ends are crooked this time instead of the E's.
I don't
What's
know
with
what to
the
make of
letters?
these. I think they're dragging it on, but I think it's got to be referring to the baby we see in the basket.
Yeah,
And
I think so too.
I,
Did Colton know about them at the time? Or is this like a haunting, like deep in your conscience, like conversation that Dell's having with him when he's like, you have to tell them about these letters? Is that her own conscience or is that like a flashback because like he did know about the problem and the whatever's causing this fear with these letters?
Yeah,
Super
maybe
confused around that.
Colton's the one sending the letters.
Show, show
He's
us your penmanship.
the typewriter.
um, yeah, I don't know.
You got nothing on the letters?
I, I like the way we finally get an answer of why she hasn't shown anybody the letters to talk to him. She mentions that she's trying to protect the kids. They've been through so much already. They can't, why deal with something else? Which kind of makes sense. But then again, strength in numbers, bring everybody in, get everybody working on it, make everybody aware of it. And then when something does happen, if somebody tries to expose something, you've got all hands on deck. Everybody can help out.
Right? I would want these kids to know and have them on my team because they've been through everything. I'm sorry,
They've
but
been through every
how
century.
does it get
Right.
worse?
Yeah.
How they probably have details and insights and tools to get through whatever it is. So,
But
like,
what is she hiding and so scared to
what
share?
is she hiding? I do
Question
think
of the episode, the question of Dell's existence for me at this point.
Right.
Who
Speaking
hurt
of,
you? What are you hiding?
speaking of
Mhm.
Dell, I got to jump back just a couple seconds here, Kellyet. You were right. It is open-ended. The job for Jacob.
Okay.
Dell's the one that says you should do this. You would love it. You'd be great at it. And he never really responds. They start talking about the letters, the mama mail again.
That'd
So
be good.
yes, it is open-ended. He has not committed.
But
Okay.
yeah, she sees what he's struggling with. She hears him. She sees the scars. She hears like his recount of like what happened before Kat saved him from dying. And she takes him to the porch and says, you should really go work at the vineyard,
Yeah.
honey.
Right? And
You'd
can we
be
also
so good at it.
we put some respect on Kat's name finally, Dell? Like she saved your
And
son,
brushes over that.
doesn't care. It's like, oh, she's causing more issues again. It's like, did you want him to not come back? Probably because
Right.
she put it in the past. Didn't want to even deal with it. But whatever.
But
Um,
I like the way it almost comes across defending that Cat. He didn't really try. He was just explaining what happened, how he was tortured back then, and that Cat saved his life,
mm,
and that Cat and her interest, Susanna,
Which one?
uh, nursed him back to health. So he does give her props, and I thought at that point Dell was going to be okay. Well, Cat did a really good thing. I will give her a break, but like you said, Kenny, nope.
Right.
wait a minute. Also, pause. Add another level of scandal into the potential idea of Kat and Susanna's love affair. Wasn't she Jacob's wife?
Yeah, but it was a matter of convenience, so she didn't have to marry Cyrus.
Didn't really want to,
Just like
Right.
but
it's your
still,
current boyfriend's great great grandma. It's your brother's
ex.
ex
Hey,
betrothed wife.
another triangle.
This is like getting into a square if we had Elliot in
Yeah.
We have now dubbed Kat as the queen of triangles. There is
there.
no
Yes.
triangle without Kat.
Yes. And
Okay.
Alice watching from the sideline.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I want to shift real quick to my favorite leading lady of this episode and
Dell.
give her proper attention and focus of conversation that she deserves. Evelyn Goodwin is like slowly becoming my best friend. Like I want her to be my
Love
best friend.
her. Her plus Alice. I just want the show to be about them now. I don't even care. You can drop all the plot lines. Just
It
have a new spin-off.
Be a
yeah,
Mary Kate and Ashley-esque spinoff of them solving crimes together.
and it finally got to the point where I think we're going to see it progress even more because you could tell Alice was there to watch Colton and Dell.
Mm,
The way they were together, Evelyn's suffering, Alice is smiling ear to ear, dimples are popping, and she's just like, I'm loving this. This is great. Look at them. Evelyn's in tears. And then she finally
behind her
realizes
glasses.
when she says, I'm here for you, she finally realizes that. So now maybe her focus will be more on Evelyn and less on, oh, I got to watch this budding romance because she knows how they end up.
Totally.
Right. So now maybe she's going to be there more for Evelyn and helping her with
Yeah.
everything. And
But again, everything about her just screams so cool. Her
So-
car,
oh, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that little
they drive up
car.
to Lingermore. I was like, "Ah, how cute.
Flower crown and costume when she was in the woods just alone. Like, you like the outfit?
Her
Just
outfit, her
carefree.
joy.
And she dropped another line when they were looking at the murals when she said groovy.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Groovy.
you know, yeah.
So
Once
cute.
again, great casting there too.
So
They
good.
did it.
I have to shout out myself for a second. If I go back into episode 1 or 2, I swear I connected the parallel of Anna Green Gables to Evie. And I was like, let me know when she starts floating down the river singing Lady of Shalott.
Yes, I did.
And
You said that yesterday, and I
yep,
looked back to see if we had it and recorded. And there, I did see a clip from one of our, I wrote it down, even the timestamp. It was like 18 minutes in of, I think it might have been part two, maybe part one, episode 3, where you're like, this is Anne of Green Gables. And you say it. So there is proof. So when she started with the Lady of Shalott, I was just like,
I
right.
had an out of body experience. I was like, wait a
Did
minute, am I a time traveler too?
we got that in an episode?
I think there's
That's
a
brilliant because just this week I was reading on the way home subreddit that somebody was comparing it to Anna Green Gables.
Oh
Got it
my
got it
gosh.
from you, Kellyet.
I
That's
mean,
awesome.
but also just like
Link
talk
up
like
with
the
them.
exact same brand, like the wild imagination, the love of like all things like naturally magical and everything. It's totally masking something else that's like hurting your heart deeply. But the fact that they like do it in the way that they do it is so similar. I'm curious if there was any. look back because also Anne of Green Gables is a Canadian-based story. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if there was any inspiration or like
Yeah.
paying like tribute or you know what I mean? Back to
Yeah.
that story. Okay, so Evie. Sorry, I want to go. Every girl at my school who's Evelyn, her nickname is Evie. So going Evie,
Popular.
it's like a brain thing for me. Um, Evie is
Wait, you're
like,
a teacher?
yeah,
That tracks.
Elliot.
All right. Anyways,
Um, so Evie is not just a pretty fun face with great costumes and a vividly wild imagination and love for all things
Yeah.
love, peace, and joy.
free spirit.
She's also dropping some clues and bombs and like facts that are what are they doing? She's dropping a lot of things in this episode.
Making us wonder.
Right.
Like when she stumbles upon Alice and Alice is like, "Oh, yeah, I was in the pond."
And
Oh,
she
read
does
the
tell Alice she knows it's a special place, but here's the theory, or my theory anyways, is does she thinks it's a magical place, like there's actually magic in the water, or there's so many good memories with her and Colton there that it's a magical place. It's special for them to hang out there.
I am con I am curious and confused as to what the pond is to her because she says to Alice in that moment, she goes, "You don't have to explain. I know what you know." I was like, "But do
uh-huh.
you?"
Right.
Is the pond a time traveling portal for you, or is it this magical place that the love of your current life saved you? Because we hear those clips later from
Yeah.
Jasper of like the trials of 1965 and all that stuff. So it's like, is it special and romantic and all the things that you love, and that's why it's so special, or do you know what it is?
Yeah. Like I was kind of trying to think about how the tapes recordings that Jasper and Kat were hanging out listening to, how they would have influenced
Mhm.
the perception of the pond. But I also feel like in the episode, Colton made it seem, if he didn't directly say, he had never used the pond to travel and that it was he tried it for the first time for the funeral
When we
to
saw him.
And it
yeah.
didn't work.
So he knew like of the possibility. I don't, but he
Grandma
had
Fern.
it until then. So I don't know. That makes me wonder, like maybe they don't know as much as I thought.
Or Evelyn especially doesn't
Yeah.
know as much.
Right. But I think in their own way, like in their own language, even Colton would tell her if he knew. As close as they were growing up together, I just have that feeling that she would be included in that. Since
Definitely.
we do hear on the Jasper tapes that he
Also,
pulled her out of the water.
can we just talk about the fact of how convenient it is that good old Jasper shows up in his little like wagon and then
And
has these recordings of the 1965 trial, which sounds like a witch hunt
okay, but
in the
let's
audio?
let's
That's
go down to even a more basic level. How do they have power out there? He stopped in the middle of the road, 1974. They don't have rechargeable batteries on these things. You know, how is he playing a tape recorder? What power is he using? I mean, we're assuming he's plugging into the van somehow, but just on a country road, they're playing an electric device in 1974. I mean, they don't, it's not like he pulled out his
Yeah,
iPod
I
or
didn't even think about
even
that.
go back a few years, pulled out his Zune. He just,
Yeah.
boom, they're playing a tape recorder. I'm like, what? How?
Yeah, no, I was just totally distracted by the idea of like, oh, you just happen to have all these like transcribed audios that you have from the like, what?
He's like,
I didn't think
oh,
about the
here,
power.
1965, right here.
Thank you, Jasper.
But I did think it was interesting too that when Kat ran into Jasper, he said he's bringing magazines for Fern, and she really likes the ones from the 20s.
Mhm.
Remember the 25 poem?
Oh,
25,
25.
25
65.
first arrived. So she's interested
Okay.
in that time frame for more than whatever, the magazines, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Great catch. We
Good
should.
detail.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um, so we learned that there definitely was a scary event that happened in 65. Colton saved Evie from drowning, but it sounds like Evie said, boo, somebody else came and saved us
Or
or
something. Yeah. The
something.
White Witch. I don't know.
Which comes back to
She's
the
very fond of
painting
that mural.
at Lingermore, where she was like fangirling over the White Witch and made like really accurate observations. Like nobody's
And are
scared
the
of
two kids
people.
on the bank of the pond, Evelyn and Colton?
There was a dog in the painting, and
That's
we all
Finn.
know who that is.
Finn is back. Woo!
Another decade he's made it
Oh,
to.
Finn needs his own show. Yeah, he's back. So let's get him some screen time. Yeah, but she shows him the mural, and Alice does ask who's in it, and all she says is the lady in white is the town's infamous White Witch. She doesn't mention the kids in it, but I'm gonna assume that's them. I
Mm.
don't know. It's too on point to be,
who
when we
makes
hear in the tape that something magical saved them, and yeah,
Susanna?
yeah,
And is that where like Evie's like strong passion for everything in the magical world comes from? Where it's
gotta
like
be
I
because she
had
was
to
what?
defend myself using that, and so
Right.
you better believe I'm gonna believe in it.
She was 7 or 8 at the time,
Hmm.
like Jasper said, and something big like that happens, it's gonna shape her forever.
Yeah.
Aw.
Okay. So also while we are in this time,
Linger more. What do we
go
see
ahead.
outside?
What?
What do we see outside at Lingermore?
I don't know. What did we see?
Dell.
At the
That's what starts
pool.
the whole Dell Colton go on a date. Alice and Evie following, tagging, spying on them.
Nope, 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 nope. I am Team Evie forever. I don't care what happens in the rest of the show. I have been requesting so hard. Just give me my 5 minutes of how Colton and Dell got together, and maybe I'll be able to accept it and appreciate it. The more I see, the more time this character's on screen, the angrier I get. I'm not here for it.
What draws Colton into her?
I think we've already said it. The fact that
But she's unique and
Evelyn and Colton were such
beautiful.
childhood friends, just like Kat and Dell were. We see them get together, and look how they're turning out. They already seem
But
bored
not even like
of each
as a
other.
comparison of like Dell versus Evie. If there was no one left on the world, on the planet, what is Dell doing that gets Colton wrapped up in her rings and so adamant about pursuing her?
I'm surprised also. She's got the same attitude that she has now in current time
Yeah.
because I thought she would be like sweet, fun, and like everything that happened turned her, molded her, influenced her.
Yes.
She can't.
So,
She's pregnant. Wait, who
but
said that?
that's what we think. But like,
Who said that?
because like even when she threw up on the boat the first time, it was the casting again so good because
Yes.
it was her.
Amazing.
I was like, why are you pushing him away? Why are you so private? Why are you so weird and awkward and like mad about everything? Like you threw up, whatever. You don't like boats, don't do it. But like, why aren't you fun? Why aren't you?
Who
Yeah.
hurt you?
Yeah.
She did get snarky with him when ABBA was playing.
Right? And
And she said, "Do you like them?" And he didn't answer her. And then he said, "I'd like to take you out on the town, show you the real tour of Port Haven." She goes, "You didn't answer my question." And
because
he's
she's
like, "Well, you
still
didn't
on
answer
her like
mine."
she's
I know.
still on her like little pissy trip from the
Right.
beach when he insulted disco and pop music. It's like,
Exactly. But he shows her coming up, doesn't he?
ooh, talk
That,
about another melting moment of mine.
I ain't gonna say anything about one of my favorite Waterloo songs, but
The low coal.
talk about that in a minute.
But yeah,
Love
just
that.
kind of like a stick up her butt at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only thing I can think is the way they did it was Kat and Brady together at the beginning, or it's in season one, were so different. He's a big city rich boy. He's cocky, as you know, she's down home on the farm. Everybody loves
Yeah.
everybody. Everybody helps each other out. They're just get along. They're so opposite. Now
Yeah.
you got bring Dell into the mix. She comes from at
Oh,
one point sounded like money until her father lost it all, and
did lose her
comes
horse.
from the States, down south, a whole different person than Evelyn that he grew up
Yeah.
with. And those opposites attract. And I think they're really
Yeah.
pushing this opposite attract theme
And
also along with the
triangles.
triangle.
Yeah, that is so interesting. Uh-huh.
But
It's so much like the Cat Elliot Brady.
right.
Yeah.
I will give props to Andy McDowell though with this character. We
Seymour.
kind of get on her a little bit and we don't like her selfishness and the way she's very stubborn. She's playing
Cold.
this to the T though. She's really
Mm.
hitting it.
Oh yeah, and that's why we have so much emotion about it because she's
Yeah,
doing so well. Then it's like
And Minnie
exactly.
now.
Right. Well,
She gives me the same exact feelings.
she was on Jimmy Fallon.
I need to go back
Her
and watch that.
real life persona is so different. She's so fun and laughing and just letting it out.
Lovely.
But she talks this, you guys gotta go watch it. If anybody out there gets a chance to watch that, or if you've already seen it, she does an imitation, talks about her daughter was imitating her on the Jimmy Fallon show because she's an actress also. It was so dead on, Dell. It was so funny. You get a chance, go see it. Go check it out.
Okay, we're
But all
both.
right, move on. So yeah, so this is where he finally asked her out. You know, she throws the ABBA in his face because of the disco thing. Petty, I thought.
So petty.
Yeah. Uh, so they go out. Alice and Evelyn decide to spy. Well, Evelyn said, "Let's go spy on this."
There she goes.
There you go, Evie.
Look at my tarot
Who is
card.
I
that?
love her.
So incognito. But then the next they show them coming off the boat. She had gotten sick. She's getting mad, and Colton grabs a guitar and pulls
Ding.
Waterloo out of nowhere from ABBA. He nails it for one. I thought he did a good job, and it just showed her that he's not this one-dimensional. You know, he
Yes.
does like different music, and even if he didn't like different music, he took time to learn something and
Took the
create it.
initiative to show that he cares.
Right.
Right?
And it,
Classy man.
you know, it showed a lot. And then they kiss. I
Puke
had to
kisses.
close my eyes
Cute kisses.
because she
Kisses.
threw up.
Brush her teeth.
She even says it though. She goes, I can't. I threw up. Gross. Or she said, my breath. And he's like, I don't care. And he went in for it anyways. And no.
But
Anyways,
she's so perfect, she didn't even smell.
they finally, though, between these two, had a touching moment, but it ended up being older Dell and older Colton.
Mm.
In the flash, she kind of
Yeah, when
Right? Once Alice gets back and was like, oh my God, like there's beautiful things that come from time traveling and there's beautiful things that come from this pond. Don't hate it so much. I got to see like when you guys were falling in love on your first date. She gets all freaky and wild and closed off and cold again. And it's like,
that wasn't the moment we
Right.
first love. We
but
first
Colton comes in, Ghost Colton said that wasn't the moment. And he says the best thing about the moment by the truck as hunky teen Colton is holding her hair back,
again.
getting sick. But he
suspicious.
said, this moment was just for us.
Mm.
No time traveler, nobody watching. And it's like, perfect,
Mm-hmm.
And that was a good moment between those two that we didn't see as teen Dell and teen Colton.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice to see. But then right when she got out of the truck, she's like, oh, I'm sick.
That's not from the boat.
First thing that popped in my head was pregnancy.
She is with child. I 100% agree. I think all three of us agree. And the more I think about it, I'm like, okay, when she got to the place, she did say, well, all the boys love me. Don't quote me on this, but like she said something about how popular and how hip she was with the guys and stuff. So like, is she kind of some kind of like little floozy? Not to say that if you are pregnant, you are a floozy, but she wanted to portray herself as that, and that seems like an image she is proud of. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand in that there is a child that is
Right.
Did she
And
get the baby?
child.
that's not unheard of in the 60s and 70s for people to be shipped off to have a baby out of wedlock like that. So,
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Like I
yeah,
think
why she got shipped to Lingomore without her parents this time. Remember, Evelyn goes, I don't know why she came by herself this time. There you go. Now
okay, oh
there's a
my God.
reason.
And that could be why
Well,
she's
and such
so
a
there.
guarded, protected attitude.
Right.
Doesn't want to be around anybody and is like, no,
I
Colton,
mean,
leave.
one does not die on the hill of defending disco unless you're pregnant. I don't know. Maybe.
None of us can speak from that perspective. We
No,
don't
we can't.
know,
As old as
but
I may look, not a disco guy.
I was just saying because you've never been pregnant, but
I mean, I
That too,
can get
I
down with some
can't.
disco.
yeah, for sure. But that's okay. I didn't think about that. I thought she was with child and didn't even know herself yet. But
I am curious about that.
a lot of your theories are also adding up. So I think either one we could see
Oh,
happening.
I can't wait to get into
It
those.
makes me think ahead too. Do we have any hot takes and theories? Hot takes
I I think
about who this baby would be if should she have one?
Hold on. Save it.
Okay.
Save it. Because we got a little bit more of the show, like pieces of the show to piece together. And then I think
right.
the theories will start to come.
We've got
Okay.
one big chunk left, and it was right at the end.
Okay, before we get into that though,
Okay.
while Kat and Elliot are getting all hot and spicy,
Oh, Jesus.
the jacket,
Sweater.
Finally.
sweater, whatever it is.
Finally, it was mentioned. I think
Right.
we had one of our episodes, and it was on my list to bring up, and I don't think I did. But that was such a huge thing to me because, like, this is proof someone, aka Colton, time travels. So I'm glad
But
they
that
brought
jacket was found when Alice got pushed in.
Sweater.
Sweater.
I don't want to keep putting subtitles in.
The sweater
Sweater.
was found after Alice got pushed in.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
that was
Allie found
in.
it, scooped it up, and was like, "This looks cute."
Yeah.
What really did happen? Because why would Elliot be there when Alice got pushed in?
How did he end up with it? Why is he acting like it's not a big deal? And how does Kat remember like that's her dad's and she's losing her ever loving mind about that, you know?
Right.
I
Yeah.
feel
Why
like
was Elliot at the pond?
because like it felt he was by himself.
Was he looking for Cat?
It wasn't when maybe it wasn't when he was like he wasn't trying to do anything himself and
I'll have to
going.
go back and look.
He was by
Comment down
himself.
below if you remember.
Help us out.
But then I have not felt the joy that this last part of the episode gave me. I haven't felt joy like that this entire series. Because while Alice has fallen in love with Noah on her cute little date at the coffee shop, which why would you take a girl to her former place of employment for a date?
That was it, right? It looked a
Come
little
on, man.
up. I couldn't tell, but
I don't think they have a lot of sets. It's between that and the Roxy, which closed. So
Who walks in?
Max.
Max Goodwin. Who is Max Goodwin?
not
don't know yet.
Casey's brother.
Lewis's son.
And not Casey's sibling because Lewis doesn't know who Casey is.
Wait, who's Casey? I've never heard of her.
Who's Casey?
I've never heard of them. I don't know what he said. Never. I don't know who
Right.
that is.
Who's that? Yeah, something. That
Hello, Alice's future husband. Hello, Casey's dad. Hello, hello, hello.
That was cool. What was Noah and Max's just friends?
They're just
I thought
friends.
They're friends because he's Noah's best customer at his food coffee truck.
okay.
Mm.
So it finally at least connects us to Noah a little bit because we were wondering
He's
why
serving a
are you
purpose now.
here? Why are you back now? How is this convenient for us? So it gave a little bit, I don't have to be so suspicious about him now. It's more about the people you know and the person you don't know that I am focused on now. I don't know. That was so weird. But it
Mike, I sat there with the biggest smirk on my face and I was like, appoint me to lead detective.
uh-huh.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Uh-huh.
And we just kind of end there
Right.
with a
So,
lot of questions, left with a lot of questions.
yep.
Right. Which is good. We got to have questions, or what would we be doing, right?
Mm-hmm. So does
Um,
I've got
yeah,
two that I'm left with.
it's I saw a theory which kind of I don't know. Somebody said that there's no way Casey could be Alice's daughter because how does that fit into the story? Well, I think it's a whole Alice all over again.
Yep.
She needs to go back, get the relationship between Alice and Max, just like the whole Alice had to get the relationship between Kat and Brady, or I don't know what she did to get them together, but she was there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
All right, there's only so many traumatic things that
yeah,
one daughter in the lineage can correct in their
right.
lifetime. You
So
know,
yeah, and
need somebody else to come on in and do some things too.
maybe we're setting up season 5. I don't know. Because the rumor of season 4 is um
no,
Confirmed.
Colton's parents.
Oh.
yeah,
So
we talked about this. Because
yeah,
I was mad because I was like, I want Colton's parents' story now.
right.
Um, we are teased in the preview for next week with we do see Thomas Coyle
We do.
to your joy, Jasper.
And yours, Kelly.
Also
Back.
see Casey and the ring. Oh, please hold.
That they did bring that back a little bit.
Yep.
So that was surprising. I am glad they're bringing those characters back and those elements.
Ironic that Casey's brought up right after Max Goodwin is introduced.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I just
And
don't
I
know.
mean, it just makes sense too with the way Casey showed up out of nowhere and said, "Here's your land back. Here's the check or the deed or whatever. We don't want it." And
And no other characters disappear for like big periods of time and just pop on up.
right.
These time traveler girls
Yep.
and Noah.
And she knows probably that has to keep the pond and the Landry family. It's got to stay with them to keep working, and it helps further their whole story together or further along. You know what I mean? Not just,
Totally.
oh, we're being nice. We don't need all that farmland. You can have it. Even though my dad wants to start a grape vineyard and everything else, a
Again,
winery.
because she popped up and took care of business.
Right.
And it was like, where have you been? Also, why are you the face of this? What is happening here?
Yeah.
A lot of weirdness.
She shows up with that deed or whatever it was in hand, kind of like
Mhm.
the letter that Dell got in season 1, episode 1, and brought Cat back to the farm, or that Cat got from, no, yeah, confusing. Anyways, okay, big theories.
Questions.
Questions. Go.
Questions that I'm left with. I'm excited to get more answers on again what draws Colton to Dell. Like she has to have a softening
Every
moment for them to have such a beautiful, heartfelt, fully in love relationship that they're like depicted as having. She's got to melt at some point. And I want to see it happen.
That or just the whole, I don't know, maybe it's her pregnancy.
Maybe.
we see Colton throughout, even as a teen, and then as he gets older, just so willing to help people and just
Mm,
do like it's so
yes.
unselfish. And
Yes.
maybe that's what it is. He sees what Dell's going to be going through, and he's just there to be that support, you know?
Yeah.
And then it grows from there. I kind of see that. I kind
Yeah.
of see too also what I hit on earlier about them just being so different.
Yeah.
Dell is so
Totally
different
agree with
than
that.
Fort Haven that, kind of drawn to that.
I just want to
But
see her moment of melting,
yeah,
softening up.
oh, if we will. She's played it pretty close to adult Dell here so far. But
Um, Another question I have. Is Lewis Goodwin a snake?
I think he is, but I think his strings are being pulled by none other than Sam Bishop Goodwin.
No.
So think back to my quote that I enjoyed from that episode with at the book reveal or the book,
Mm-hmm.
when Lewis was getting on Jacob and just and
Breaking
getting
him
on
apart.
Kat, talking about Cyrus, and you can't one chapter can't rewrite history of his family and this and that. And Sam comes in very calm, looks him right in the face, pretty close, and says, I learn from listening, not from talking. As in, dude, shut up and listen to what they have to say, and let's work with this. It,
Yeah.
it almost reeks now that I think about it, and I went back and watched that scene that they're working together somehow.
Okay.
Calm down,
I'm
both.
still fuzzy.
He wanted the land too at first.
Okay, that's what I'm fuzzy about. Like the whole thing about them like losing the farm and Sam like being the bad guy. Like
I
the
think he's playing the
line of
long
them,
game.
what
See,
is Sam's role in all of this?
see now remember, Sam decided he wasn't going to lease the land or buy the land from Dell. Well, he did offer to buy when she had money problems,
And she was
and she
stubborn as
turned him
no,
down.
right?
And then, so I think he's playing long game, knowing Lewis is going to come into the picture and try to buy it from them, not foreseeing Casey coming in and nixing the deal.
What did Casey come in and undo though at the end of season two?
She basically said, she said her dad or the family did not want to buy the land. It's yours. And either gave back the deed, ripped up the check or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
And basically, by doing that, allowed Dell now to run her farm and make money off it again so she could stay at the property.
Okay.
So I think Sam, like I said, is playing the long game here and knowing Lewis was going to buy it. They did not foresee Casey coming in and giving it back. Now
Hmm.
Lewis has a chip on his shoulder. He's
Hmm.
mad at Kat for writing that thing about in the book.
And getting the idea out there.
Right. Sam comes in, calms him down, and then all of a sudden Lewis invites Jacob to the house to farm and apologized that he was way out of line at the book sale.
So gentle.
Where did that come from? I think
Oh,
Sam got to him. Just a theory. I mean, it's a theory and a question, but I'm talking like that's what really is happening here, but we don't know. But
Mhm.
that is my big theory is that Sam is pulling the strings with Lewis.
For the better or for the worse?
I think for not the better.
Dang. Right?
I
It
mean,
takes
I
it's
think
a certain
he's
breed of
had
man to sneak around in the barn clubhouse for 6 months.
right.
So hesitant to take that relationship out.
I think he was a big time lawyer, like he says he was. He's pretty smart in that aspect. He put Brady in his place pretty good.
Hmm.
But I think he's looking at it like, okay, can we get this pond? Can we make money off it? Can we do something with it? I think he's thinking bigger picture than, oh, I want the magic myself. I think he's looking broader.
You think that the idea of the pond is wrapped up into the value of this land for these guys.
For sure. definitely, 100%.
Hmm.
Interesting.
I don't think they're there just to make a vineyard and a winery. Nobody makes a winery off of one vineyard like that. Especially if you don't have all that land, you're outsourcing your vineyards from other farmers.
Mhm.
Yeah, it just doesn't. And I granted, here we are again. Hallmark, how in depth or deep are they going
Yeah.
with this stuff? Not real deep, but that's just kind of basic farming,
Yeah.
winery. If anybody here out of us knows, do any of us know anything about wineries?
I say, didn't you grow up in a winery town?
I did, and I worked there for years.
Oh,
So, I mean,
yeah.
you don't just, you know, say, "Oh, look, I have a plot of land. I'm going to start a winery." It's just
Hallmark does love those
there's
successful
more to it.
A little romance,
vineyards,
dumping
wineries.
grapes in a barrel. Mm.
Yeah, and you make 3 bottles of wine and you call it a winery. But I did like how he brought them to the house, Jacob and Dell, and they're drinking the wine. He says, "Isn't that good?" He goes, "Well, this isn't ours, but it's going to be just like this."
Right? I was like,
So
that's
that also leads me to think he's nowhere near having a winery. He's
yeah.
giving them wine he bought off the shelf. And was it a cab or a pinot?
She had a $2 chuck off.
Who knows? I'm gonna laugh if she said, "Is this a cab? I'm a Pinot girl."
Uh,
I prefer
oh,
Pinot. Thank you very
that
much.
whole thing. I have no thoughts on anything in that area.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just. Anyways, that's where I go. Keep an eye out for Sam. It did show him
Yeah, they're
in the
just
end
awesome.
credits. The scenes for next week. Maybe be showing himself back again. Maybe we'll learn a little more. It
Yeah.
is odd that he just up and went and saw his kids for a while, which, I mean, people do, but they talk about it ahead of time. They don't, "Oh, by the way, I'm leaving town tomorrow for a few weeks. See ya, bye.
Right.
Keep the loft warm for me."
And he's probably like, this
No.
lady
Keep
can't
the
keep
loft warm
the
for
loft
me.
warm.
So there's got to be more at play with that guy.
Do we know Sam's last name?
Right now,
But
it's Bishop.
Okay.
That's why I said Bishop/Goodwin.
I
Okay.
think, okay. So my only question with that being like a good win or something, wouldn't Dell know?
No, because a lot of the Goodwins weren't raised in Port Haven. They were all shipped off to boarding schools and stuff, and you know what I mean? But I mean, yeah, you're right. There's holes in my theory. Thank you for pointing them out.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I was just a little curious. Like, even if he was to be someone his
Are we talking
age,
about Sam?
Yeah.
mhm,
Okay.
like some kind of Goodwin.
Because he
And he
would,
could be Evie brother, Evie's husband, Evie's somebody in that
well, he would be,
age,
yeah, the
assuming
same
he's
age.
similar age to Dell.
Right.
Seem to
Hmm.
be.
Could be a cousin that didn't live there, you know.
Yeah. So then,
He
yeah.
came in the winters.
It could be the baby that was in the basket. I mean, let's throw that out there.
Perfect segue.
I'll turn the
Do
show
we
off.
have other questions before we move on?
So many, but no.
Theories.
Theories.
Well, see, that was my big theory, not
Your
question.
theory is all in that side. I'll switch back to the Dell and Colton baby. I'm liking the theory that she is with child. I'm liking the theory that he has to find out soon if she's going to be throwing up on him all the time, and that that's going to bring them closer.
Is that the melting moment?
I think so, because he'll be like, oh my gosh, poor you. I'm curious about if she knows or not. I don't know. Dell herself yet. I would think that makes so much more sense and adds a lot of depth to this her behavior. But I feel like the baby, I don't know why they would have to get rid of it if they were so in love and like whatever, but I have it in my head that they're gonna do something weird, baby in the basket. But also, why would you put your baby in the pond if you're not a traveler yet and you don't know how it works? You can't trust that. That's getting into a dark topic there. Um, so yeah, but I'm in
Well,
baby basket.
no, well, keep going. My thought lost
I
me.
got.
So I'm sitting here thinking about the timeline. We meet Kat in 1999,
99.
Yes.
and Kat is
High school 15. Is she the same age as Alice when it starts?
Yes.
So
15 in 1999.
minus 15, 19, like
So
80.
that is,
When do they graduate? They have the Y2K party.
yeah.
Yeah, so it must be like,
So they must be juniors or seniors in 99.
Either way, she was born mid 80s, early 80s,
Right.
and we're 74.
mm-hmm. So Jasper told me this a few weeks ago, a theory. So way ahead of the game.
This Jasper guy sounds pretty smart.
Yes. That they could have put a baby Jacob into the pond or something to travel to a different time and then had him later or something when the time was right. Right? That's the theory.
Yeah, there is quite an age
Because we did notice that gap a lot.
disparity between Kat and Jacob.
Stop.
They're not just like 1 or 2 years apart.
They
They're
did not throw
almost,
their
you
baby
know.
down the Nile River in hopes to find him again later on when they were better equipped to be parents.
No, but
Or
and
wait,
yes, at the same time. So if they did that, put them at the pond, then knowing Colton knew about it in 19, let's see, Jacob disappeared in what, 99 or 2000? 2000? Is that when he disappeared? Yes, he disappeared in 2000 or
okay.
99.
Oh yeah,
So
because he was
at
gone.
7 years old. So in 92, adult Colton knows about the baby, goes back to the pond, goes back to that time in 74, picks up Jacob, comes back to present day, which is 1999 or 1992, and they raise Jacob as their own child.
I
That's
just
where Kenny and I were going
You
with
can't
that.
control what time you go back to. The pond decides.
That's true. I remembered another theory too.
But if you
About
leave
this.
a baby there, knowing you have to go get this baby as an adult, the pond takes you where you need to go.
Maybe they travel together,
This pond,
Dell and Colton.
right there, that pond.
That pond. Maybe they travel together instead of Evie getting to travel. He takes Dell, and that's what even more severs their relationship. And then she has the baby in another area, and the baby can't come back. Maybe they travel to 1814, the baby gets stuck there or something. I don't know, and they can't come back. But that was just random, popped into my head. But you, Sven, also had another theory that you told me, I think maybe within the past week. Who could this baby be?
Let
May
me explain.
Oh, is this?
I have a theory.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
I think that it's
Baby.
Alice
Oh,
and Evie whose feet we see at the pond with this baby. I think Evie ends up with the baby. The baby is actually Lewis Goodwin.
that's what I was gonna say. So I'm glad you interrupted me so you could get a word in.
And like explains to us if she did live this life in her after we know her now in between she when she passes of being like a hermit or a recluse and just like we were like okay well she never loved again then like how'd she have this kid from the pond and Dell doesn't know but Lewis is Dell's kid which kind of adds up because he would need to be 9-ish years older than Kat.
He looks older. So that is what I thought, but I think that from Jasper a while
Well,
ago. So I think we're all aligned in
Yes, okay. Nice,
so that's
Jazz.
awesome. How does Dell not know who he is?
I think
How does
Evie
Del?
ties in the Lady of Shalott and says, put him in a basket and see where he ends up. And then she scampers down and goes, oh my God, we can't do this. And then scoops him up.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Hey, you're right about the Lady of Shalott before, so
And then he
maybe.
frees the slaves from Egypt. I mean, it sounds like Moses going down the Nile here. Um, wow, lots of unpack there.
It does make sense for, whoa, what if Lewis could be sending the letters to Dell saying, tell the secret. The secret is I'm your child.
How would Lewis know that? And how
See,
would
now I also, when those letters came into play, thought Jacob is Dell's baby, but not Colton's baby.
Ooh,
And that's the secret that she's got to tell is that Jacob isn't actually a Landry, but how else could he travel through the pond? So that nixed that idea.
Those two are, I don't know, they seem like they're biological. Just, I don't know. They got it. They got it going on.
Well, yeah, there's definite.
My theory is this baby, Lewis is Lewis Goodwin. Dell shipped him off to Evie, and I think they both know. I think Dell knows, and that's another secret she is keeping.
Dell knows that Lewis is her
That
son.
Lewis is her son.
Oh,
And
She
Ellie and Evelyn in her heartbreak over Colton never married. Thus the last name Goodwin
That's why the
and
baby.
Lewis having the last name Goodwin.
We talked about that. Like, why
Right.
would she pass the name down? And all I thought was like, well, it's like a fancy old family name. Why not? But she didn't have anyone.
Right.
Hmm. Interesting things.
Hmm.
I loved this episode.
I guess we'll have to wait till Friday to find out some more questions.
A bit
Because we won't
more.
get any answers.
Yeah. But
Which is
it,
good. Like I said before, don't rush into these answers too fast. We keep these things
Especially because if we
going.
think about the arc that the episodes have followed in the past two seasons, things go wild in episodes like 8 and 9, and
Yeah.
then kind of like start settling and everything and like leave us on a cliffhanger for 10. So the fact that we're already like this deep in it, 4 episodes in, we still got a whole lot before we hit the arc.
you
Right.
have a lot. Got to be patient.
I just want more Evie.
Me too. And it just still just hurts me to think about her future and whatever
It
else they paint her. So
it's
I
sad
know
to think that she does end up alone. And I thought maybe she didn't because she has Lewis in her life, but as we're asking these questions, we see maybe she's just still was alone and he got shipped off to boarding school anyway, so she was even more alone. Didn't
Mm.
even have fake baby in her life at that point. But
What if she took in Lewis because she knew that her family could like take on the financial burden and all, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Dang.
it's figuring, but I don't know. I just the concept of her being alone, it's
I
just
think
so like, or just because I don't even know if they've said it in the show, but
right.
just
I'm not
not
heartbroken
having
over the
a
fact.
partner. Because I feel like she wouldn't even, as romantic as she is, it seems like she wouldn't even get that down about it. Like it's not
No,
cool, yeah, but like she's so cool that she's like,
Who's next?
I'm gonna still
Full
live my
stumble
awesome
upon.
life. Yeah, so it's like I don't
Let me
know.
go to Morocco and see who I stumble upon.
I'm
I
not
just
even upset in the least bit that she's not with Colton. If Colton's not giving her the time
it's
of
too
day
good.
and he's just got
Mhm.
eyes for old Miss Watson
Get
there,
out.
then you know what?
Tomato,
It's
tomato.
not meant to be, and
Tomato, tomato,
I don't feel sad
boo.
for her.
Yeah,
Move on, you
that's
know.
good, Sven. I love that. I think the thing that I struggle with is not that she maybe didn't end up with someone, whatever, because maybe that can be a blessing. But just the shot that I can't get out of my head still is the chair in the corner looking out the window with like prescription bottles or whatever. That's not the picture I want for her. If she wants to be alone, independent, then great. I think she'd do well with that. But that and like how she randomly died, like younger, like
Yeah,
that
she's the same age as Dell.
like she just that's
Oh,
I can't face that if that is
When did we have that episode? The beginning of season 2?
sometime in two, I think.
Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
because
why they
that's
go to
when
the house and get the painting?
the whole estate sale
Yeah.
happened.
This
Okay,
date.
I need to go back and watch that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I do too, because it's such a strong picture in my head and it
Yeah.
hurts so much. But I'm like, where is it accurate? Did I make it up myself? Oh,
That
no.
and the scene where she's sitting in the point with Dell talking about the after the the big party at
I have to go
Lingermore.
back and find that too.
And so basically Dell is asking her, don't press charges to these kids and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
which still seems more way blown out of proportion than it was. There's something else had to have happened that we don't know about yet. I don't know.
Mm.
The only thing I can think is
You've already taken in one of my babies.
that fountain
All right,
has
my second
something to
one.
do with all of this. I don't know. Because cat fell into the fountain. Maybe the fountain is the time travel thing, and you have to go in that fountain before you can go in the pond.
Alice
Okay,
never.
never mind.
Did Alice?
I don't think so.
No.
Didn't dive into save cat, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. I would be curious if that, I don't think that fountain has anything to
No.
do with
But
it. But I mean, Landry's have the pond, Augustine's have this ring and this clock that we were hung up on last time.
Oh my gosh, you guys, there's so many things.
What did the Goodwins have? They have
the mural.
lots of riches
For
and things.
some reason, remember she said for
My
some
God.
reason this mural was saved. My dad saved this mural or whatever she said.
Of Cyrus,
No, the mural at Lingermore with the White Witch.
White Witch,
Evelyn
and
tells Alice, for some reason, my dad saved this mural and I just love it. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe the mural is the clue for them.
Shadowing.
hmm
There's more in there that we're not seeing yet or picking out the clues out of. Real quick, the showrunners did say that every detail that you see in the show is important.
Everything is on purpose.
everything.
So when you see the mural, you see the kids, you see Finn there, you see the White Witch, that is important. It's not just, oh, it kind of looks like that. There's something to that. The pond or the fountain with they keep showing that picture of Cat in that fountain. There's
Okay,
something
there's a
more to
flashback in this
that.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah. So every detail is something. We have to just remember that and try and pick those up.
yeah. Uh-huh. Can't let anything
Well,
go.
on that note,
And wait, one more detail. Everybody probably knows this by now out there, but um, Coyle, Thomas Coyle, the Coyle's
Still
coffee
hung
shop hangout for the teens, the Coyle sticker on the guitar. That sticker was originally put on the guitar by one of the designers of the show, the graphic designers. Her last name is Coyle. Put that on there, and so they ran with it and made the family name of Coyle and
I
created the character Thomas Coyle.
love a fun tidbit like
Yeah,
that.
nice little
cool.
behind the scenes for everybody for that one.
Fun. I like that.
That is fun.
On
Tell
that
you,
note,
say something.
On that note.
on that note, I was gonna get ready to wrap it up.
All for
I
it.
think it's time.
Before you wrap it up, just remind everybody, new episode on Friday, episode 5.
Mhm.
We'll be doing this again after that episode, and we will have some concrete details on the airings of episode 6 through 10. I know there's a little question on when those are going to air.
Do we have a break? Do we not have a break?
Yeah,
TBD.
I'll get a definitive answer on that, and we'll know
TBD.
next time.
All right. Well, until next time, here's to finding all of the somethings
I'm sorry, that's
and here's to all the somethings.
and many more.
To many more somethings.
Many more somethings.
Stay dry out there, ponders.
Stay dry or don't. Travel
Or
as much
don't.
as you want because it's cool to show up and wet in people's fields.
All I can say is, May, whenever you come out of the pond, there's a stack of dry clothes for you.
Yes. Mm.
Nobody wants soggy undies.
Oh, the amount of chafing they must do in those jeans.
Oof.
I think about it all the time. But anyway,
Anyway,
we'll leave you on that note.
See you next week.
see you next time.